The following is for the purpose of commentary and review. Flip Flappers was written by Yuniko Ayana, directed by Kiyotaka Oshiyama, musically composed by Tomas, developed by Studio 3 Hertz, and licensed by Sentai Filmworks. Please support the official release. The emotions I'm feeling right now as I write this are everywhere across the board. The want for more of the show is almost insatiable. Flip Flappers is nothing short of a magical piece of animation, and to overlook it would be a crying shame. So, where do I even begin? I suppose the story? Spoilers, by the way, for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. Just go watch it already, it's worthwhile, I promise. Kokona and Papika continue to retrieve fragments of what is known as Amorphous in order for the Flip Flap organization to gain control over Pure Illusion, which basically bends reality itself, creating new worlds and dimensions where one's perceptions, thoughts, or inner subconscious becomes that reality. So, basically it grants wishes. The worlds that these girls explore are wonderful, such as the world inside a shock vac, in which they're transformed into dust bunnies. They were freaking dust bunnies. I mean, how cute is that crap? Oh, and Kokona's pet rabbit transformed into some kind of super rabbit. By the way, his name is Yuxku, and no, he's not your fursona, and it took me way too damn long to learn how to pronounce that. Not fursona, I meant damn it. Anywho, there are even more worlds that they explore, such as this sand world where Kokona deals with her inner anger that comes out when wearing some evil mask, and then this world, which was Iro's troubled past and memories of her beloved auntie, and then this dream world for Dr. Hidaka. It's not just the world that's different, sometimes it's the art, sometimes it's the things that live there, or what that very world represents. Soon into the series, Kokona's classmate and good friend Yayaka appears in Pure Illusion and contests Kokona and Papika for the Amorphous fragments with the help of the two twins, Toto and Yuyu. They're working for spoopy clansmen who also want the fragments for some reason. We'll get to that later. Eventually, Kokona lives with Papika at Flip Flap, scrambling for more Amorphous fragments in a race against Yayaka and the twins. And eventually Yayaka shows Kokona mercy once by saving her, seeing as they're both friends, yet she claims that she just wanted the Amorphous fragment. The twins and their superiors take note of this, seeing as it's a sign of weakness, and replace her with a lolly that needs way more clothing than she currently has. Seriously, you remember when I said this show is pure? No, it's not. It's really not. It gets a little bit PG-13, we'll say, for lack of a better description. But yeah, she's replaced after helping Kokona too many times, and even gets betrayed by Toto and Yuyu in an attempt to terminate her as a possible adversary in the future. After this battle, in which we learn about just how far Yayaka and Kokona go back, she's taken to Flip Flap for healing, and Kokona goes as far as to beg Salt to let her stay even though she's the enemy. This comes with dire consequences, however, because now the twins, the lolly, and all these dumb robots are after the rest of the Amorphous fragments, including the one inside Kokona, which is how she can get to Pure Illusion in the first place. They were able to find the place just by tracking Yayaka. Of course. Nice freaking going, Blueberry Hair. The fact that Papika's memories keep coming back to her through getting these shards doesn't help, because she keeps talking about someone named Mimi, who was her original partner. When they escape the soon-to-crumble Flip Flap, Kokona forces Papika to spill the beans and tell her who Mimi is. And then it's revealed that before Flip Flap was founded by Salt, there was a facility in which Salt's father conducted experiments with a girl, Candidate 33, aka Mimi, to see who could sync up well enough with her to travel freely into Pure Illusion, seeing as no one could do it other than Mimi. One day, Papika came along and befriended her through one of these experiments, in which Papika was exposed to Mimi and interacted with her for minute periods of time. And when Mimi finally got to explore the outside world with Papika, Mimi finally became happy, strengthening the bond between her and Papika. Their impedance was nullified, and both could travel freely to Pure Illusion together. Success! However, after even more research, the father discovered how to get in there himself through his own invention, the Elpis, and went mad with his lust for power to control Pure Illusion, and eventually Mimi and Papika had to flee this facility for their own safety. Kokona couldn't believe or accept any of this story, and runs home in her angst only to be captured by the enemy, and then learns that her grandma was a robot! But, you know, that's okay, because now Kokona is being protected by someone controlling her. That claims to be her mother. Holy shit. Mimi was her mother this whole time. I mean, I kind of saw it coming after seeing how similar her and Coconut were in appearance, but still! M. Night Shyamalan would get a raging boner off of this. And it gets crazier as another flashback reveals that Salt is the father. Which, okay, I should have seen it. His eyes, her hair, etc. Which, nice. My boy Salt. Good work, man. Good work, man. Proud of you. And they're captured yet again. And then they escape yet again, this time with Salt. But crazy grandpa wants time with the kids, and Mama isn't happy about that, so she tears through reality to pure illusion in desperate need of assistance, only to be assisted by something sinister. Something darker than Mimi.
ココナを守りたい。ココナもあなたを必要としているの。
Her inner selfish desires manifested as another face.
でも、ココナを守ってあげる。だから、私と変わってよ。
This Mimi takes control and decides to rip apart the entire facility and separates from Paprika and Salt, escaping into pure illusion. Then things get weird in the show because Mimi controlling Coconut, we'll call her Mimi enough for short, shows up and crashes his party by turning everyone into freaking foliage. I guess you can safely say that the nutcase in charge is the dad, which explains why he was collecting the fragments, but Mimi takes all of said fragments and has all of pure illusion and reality itself in her grasp, and now takes Coconut to a world where no one can bother or hurt them. All for the two of them and no one else. Of course, this doesn't sit too well with our beloved Paprika, as she dives in after her with the unlikely assistance of Yayaka, and they chase the mother and daughter through multiple worlds in order to rescue Coconut from Mommy Dear's clutches. Meanwhile, back on the distorted and corrupt ranch, the twins return to the enemy base to heal Toto's wound, and Yu shows a little backbone to one of the Coneheads, and Salt is on a mission to find his father's old Elpis capsule to try to stop Mimi himself. Buchan tried to help, but we know how that typically goes. We still love him, though. Now is when things get extra weird. First, Yayaka becomes an ally for sure as she activates her flip-flapping powers. Yay! She goes ultra badass on the creepy Midna cosplayer in the desert, and now Coconut is kept behind bars because Mimi had thrown everything but the kitchen sink at these two girls to try to stop them. Paprika is about to reach Coconut and save her when Mimi scrambles Paprika's brains, not even remembering why she was in pure illusion in the first place, and she became a drooling husk of a human. So, believe it or not, good Mimi has still somehow survived here in pure illusion, and is now here to snap Coconut out of her trance, which makes Coconut try to snap Paprika out of her trance, which works. Then the girls activate flip-flapping and lay the smackdown on the big-ass kaiju from the Hidaka world. Then the final episode has some super convoluted stuff, but I will find the easiest way to summarize it, so stay with me on this. Paprika was turned into a kid and kept in pure illusion, I think, but Coconut was there with her to keep her company and be her friend as a little kid. And then what happened? What? How does she not remember this? When did this happen? Was it when Mimi ran away from the facility and left Salt behind? Did she take Paprika with her? How did Paprika lose her memory? What is the purpose of this part? Mad Mama Mimi makes some more baddies and proves that reptilians are real. It's just that they live in another dimension, which explains why no one has ever seen Zuckerberg in his own home. Well, aside from that, Mimi is done with everybody's crap today and decides that she can use flip-flapping too, which, by the way, is badass. And then she creates a vacuum in reality because she's tired of it. Like, damn. I guess I won't be griefing your Minecraft server, you big crybaby. Jeez. All of a sudden, the angst machine arrives to save the girls, his girl, in the freaking universe, and then his other version tries to talk him into taking his place in reality, but he ain't having any of that shit. Salt is a cold MFer. Ooh. Also, the girls won with love? Friendship? I don't know, but they got new costumes, and that's cute, and it all felt good in my heart. But, in all seriousness, I loved this final battle despite not knowing what was going on. Oh, and now they're in Sad World, or at least Coconut is, and everything is boring and they can't get back because no one has an Amorphous. And Paprika is trapped in there. Sad times, the end?
パピカ、何 るの?
Nope, Papika was here the whole time. Way to tease us viewers. It was a pure illusion within pure illusion. And then they go on more happy adventures after winning for real. The end. Whew, my god. I actually clapped at the end of this. Like, legit. No one was around to hear it, but as that cute little ED played one last time, my heart was brimming with happiness. My joy cup runneth over. Now, without gushing so hard about everything, let's talk about everything. The characters turned out to be pretty interesting, you know, other than red and blue. Yayaka did pretty much what I thought she would, but I'm totally okay with that. She wasn't that predictable, it's just that her decision to join Papika and Kokona to defeat Mimi was that satisfying. But what I did not expect was her to use flip-flapping. Also, loved the green hair, loved her moves. She turned out to be quite the cutie patootie. Another thing that surprised me was her relationship with Kokona and how far it went back, acting as a spy to try to get into Kokona's life and monitor her. But because she was a kid, naturally she grew attached to Kokona, which compromised her later on when it came time to compete against her for shards. These were very real emotions to me and didn't come across as forced whatsoever, and her development as a character was about everything I could have asked for. The twins turned out to be more interesting than anticipated, as their behavior was due to the fact that they're actually artificially made. As in, they're kind of like homunculi, made with the power of the Amorphous. I think. I don't know exactly. But it explains why they don't act like normal kids. Yet they do gain emotion as the show goes on, maybe because they're exposed to Kokona and Papika for so long, which practically run off of raw emotion. After Toto gets injured, Yu tries to take care of his wounds, and when they reopen again, she heals him on this medical table in their ruined HQ, denying one of the spoopy boys any help, letting him drop dead. This was enough change in the characters for me to be satisfied with them, so nicely done on the writer's part. Hidaka's only real depth in character was his Tron-like world, revealing that he's basically a legend in his own mind, and Sayori was kind of flat in the way of personality. I mean, she was nice, but that's about it. And she'd butt heads with Hidaka. That's about it. Then there's the lolly who needed more clothing, or as they called her, more like nude because she practically was. She was cute and almost naked. That's it. She was the biggest piece of lolly fan service in the show, and she really wasn't that important in my opinion. Could have done without her. Buchan grew on me, as his slightly goofy but endearing personality made him more likable, and I found myself kind of cheering him on when he went into muscle mode, and when he tried fighting those giant snow beasts. But we all saw how that turned out. Poor Buchan. Even Salt turned out to be a better character than anticipated, though we never really see the definitive line that takes him from this to this. Though, I suppose one can speculate that Mimi taking Kokona to pure illusion going crazy the first time is what changed him. But yeah, he didn't turn out to be the callous asshole that I thought he was. There's a heart somewhere in there, just buried in deep under all that grit and angst. Mimi became a very liked character for me, even after her darker side came out and threw the good Mimi into pure illusion. That one moment when she finally goes outside for the first time felt very tender, and I appreciated the change she had in character as a result of that, as she was understandably despondent and deadpan when Papika met her for the first time in her cute ribbon-filled prison of a room. So, yeah, touching, very, very touching stuff. I wish they'd expanded on Ito and the significance of her personality change, because it only served to show that because the girls changed something in pure illusion, it changed in real life too. Not much else was done with Ito after that, and it really felt like a waste of a character, especially after such a deep and developed past. Like, then what? She just stops making art? Okay, but what does that mean for the two girls other than the fact that you can manipulate the real world through pure illusion? I guess my big gripe here is that she felt like a device to give extra stake in the plot, which seems cheap to me. I know it's hard to write a perfect plot, but this is a review, so I will be critical about whatever points I can think of, including this one. Now then, for what everyone has been waiting for. The stars of this show. I dearly love them both, and I mean that. In just 13 episodes, these precious girls put such big smiles on my face, made such fat, doofy tears well up in my eyes, and made me cheer them on. Kokona and Papika are a classic balance. Introvert, extrovert, ice, fire, yin, yang. Their growing friendship and attachment to one another was more and more apparent as Kokona was brought on more adventures, like when they got stuck on an island, but their bonding made them sync up and escape the island back to the mainland, and how she faced more of her own inner turmoil, and how she even explored about how she felt about Papika as a person, like in episode 7. And yes, this little scene definitely brings into question, is this Yuri? I would say maybe, but more importantly, who gives a damn? I'm sorry, but if the only thing you got out of this show was lesbian schoolgirls, then you've missed the point entirely, and I personally invite you to go back to the beginning and watch again. Seriously. First off, anyone can say they love someone and it not mean they want to have magical gay sex with them forever. Like, girls have told me that they love me. That doesn't mean they slobbed on my long john down to the donglon for Pongon. Unfortunately. Secondly, quit wanting these little girls to do the sex, okay? They're like 12. I mean, the other one's like 35 probably, but they're physically 12 and it's... Stop it. Don't try to force it, okay? They're maybe gay for each other. Maybe. Who cares? Like, I think this scene is an indication that Miss Kokona is growing into a woman, and this is part of, and pardon my phrasing, but her sexual awakening, if you will. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has one, whether it's straight, gay, whatever. And this isn't an end-all factor that says she's all for the clam fest, but wants none of the sausage buffet, as the two girls never actually kiss. Yes, they show they love each other and hug a lot, but how many girls have you seen that just smack each other's ass and tell them that they're a sexy bitch and it be platonic? That's right, almost every damn time. That's just how girls can be. Some aren't all nervous to say shit like that because they don't have a fragile masculinity to crush under all that pent-up closeted wiener fever. Oh, did I just say that out loud? Anywho, moving on. And Kokona, in a very drawn-out way, realizes why it's important for her to choose her own path in life, harkening all the way back to the first episode where she can't think of a school to enroll to after middle school. She finds out that after Mimi puts her on a sensory and emotional autopilot, having someone make your world perfect and do everything for you is, in a way, hell. You're trapped. It stifles you. And you can't experience life in a natural way, as you were meant to, with the falls, and getting back up, and learning, and growing. This paired with her growing affection, sudden feeling of betrayal, and then reignited love for Papika was just the right kind of progression in her character. And it was beautiful. It felt like watching one's daughter grow up in a weird way. It made me proud of her. Now, Papika was an enigma for sure. She didn't have much in the way of character development, per se, but she did have many character flaws that made her, well, her. She's a very pushy and assertive person, but she does it in a childlike manner, which is a pretty good counter to Kokona's very reserved attributes. That A status to B status, as we call in the acting biz. She also served as the biggest factor to make Kokona grow in personality and come closer to realizing her goals, which is another reason that the two mesh so well together. She was the bird that pushed the other baby bird out of the nest to fly. Eventually. Her personality could come across as cute, but also aggravating and overbearing, so it was certainly a double-edged sword in that it went against her multiple times, and she would pay for it with Kokona getting angry, or making a foolish mistake on a mission, or almost losing her life from reckless abandon. But she's so damn cute! She grows on you, and her risking her life over and over for Kokona just goes to show how deep this bond is. Also, there is that one weird Benjamin Button in a cage scene, but we'll talk about that later. The point is that Papika is everyone's precious little strawberry, and we love her, and that her flaws are part of what make her great. All in all, the characters made for a great cast, and I appreciated most of them, for sure. The animation. God, the animation. Let's start with Pure Illusion. The worlds were fantastic. Everything from the white snowy world in episode 1 to the Tron world of Hidaka. They were all excellent. Each of them were important, too. They didn't feel tossed in there for the sake of it. The vacuum world was all about Kokona's feeling of getting sucked in this whole amorphous business. The sand world was her anger towards Papika manifested, and even Wilichia told her that the mask she wore just brought out those feelings. I'm certain that even Wilwitchia herself was a manifestation of those negative feelings. The Ghost School world? Kokona's constant cycle of milquetoast routine, not wanting to break out of her cycle and moving forward in life. Ito's past world, obviously had nothing to do with Kokona, and neither did the Hidaka world, but you get the picture. And as I mentioned, each one had its own art style, other than the Paprika world. This extra level of creativity added to every individual atmosphere and truly made them feel otherworldly as opposed to the real world, really separating Pure Illusion from, everything else. The battles were intense, they were flashy, and they were fun. I didn't have trouble following everything, like every shot was done by Michael Bay having a seizure, so that was very much appreciated. Fabulous for the eyes in every facet. Also, to talk about the girls again, simple but cute designs, and the transformations, just the right kind of flashy. Like I'm watching Sailor Moon on Toonami on a Saturday night all over again. That kind of flashy. And yeah, cute costumes for flip-flapping, and their final extra flip-flapping form, we'll call it, whatever that was, where they're sort of ice skaters. Yeah, that was good too. Studio 3 Hertz, you've done a magnificent job here, and you should be proud of your work. The music is just as good. I loved it. The OP is actually on my phone now. I'm dead serious. I loved Serendipity that much. It's such a happy, everything's gonna be okay song, and it's fast-paced and bouncy and fun. It's really a good representation of the show. And the ED is really catchy. It starts off very lighthearted and cute, but as the woodwind instruments come in, the song gets ominous, hinting at the dangers that lurk around the corner for these girls, which even corresponds with a strange storybook animation of the outro. But it ends as a fun, happy song. Very cute, heartwarming, not a complaint in the world. Also, the music for the Ghost World added a lot in the way of creepiness, and I found myself slightly spooked. And that one song in the Desert World was kick-ass. I like that the music variety in this anime is pretty expansive. From techno-y pop to horror atmosphere to classical to hard rock. Wonderful all around. Oh, and P.S. the sound effects are still perfect. Whether it's in a battle or otherwise. Speaking of, that perfect crunchy snow. Good stuff. And now for the plot itself. Not the story necessarily, but the plot. The plot wasn't groundbreaking in any way, but it was good and kept me wondering what was going to happen next. I found myself wondering if Paprika was going to sacrifice herself for Kokona, if the world was going to end, or what. I had no idea. I did feel that as soon as I saw Mimi that she had a connection to Kokona, but I never thought Mimi was her mother, as Paprika was just a kid, which then brings up the Benjamin Button scene. Yes. Where Paprika was turned into a kid, but befriended Kokona and Pure Illusion as they both grew up. But how did they both lose their memory of Pure Illusion and each other? Why did they lose that memory? Was it Mimi? And if so, why or how did Paprika remember Pure Illusion? Well, maybe Salt found Paprika, took her to Flip Flap, and put her to work. Maybe. I wouldn't call it a gaping hole in the plot, but it's a little iffy. Also, still don't like the lack of significance that Ito holds in the plot after episode 6. As I said before, it just feels wasteful, like a dead end, a wadded piece of paper, just thrown into the trash. Also, I wonder if this is going to leave an opening for a season 2. I wanted to so bad, but there wasn't really a cliffhanger, which tells me that no episode after 13 was kept in mind. Yet. No clue. But, yeah, cute girls coming together to save the world from Mom, all while using magic powers that can destroy giant monsters and save the world. I really enjoyed it. I actually did. I couldn't believe it. I was brought into this thinking, it's going to be it's either going to be lolly fan trash or, just some cutesy stupid thing, some slice of life. No, it wasn't. And, it turned the magical girl thing up on its head. It was, honestly, I'm impressed. So, there you have it. Flip Flappers sets the bar high for magical girl shows and does it in style. The little details and the bombastic presentation that this show delivers on is what makes it wonderful. Whether you want action, good music, an interesting story, good friendship, or possibly Yuri, jury's still out on that, or just two sweet, lovable girls going on adventures, this show has what you need. So don't be like me and take it at face value. Give it a shot. I think you'll give a flip-flap about it. Anywho, this has been Sir Fluffy the Ninth. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more anime-related content. Take care, everybody.